All right, how y'all doing? This is day number 16. How y'all doing out there? Hopefully you guys are doing blessed. Hopefully you guys are just super anointed with God's joy and love and peace today. And today is called Encourage One Another. Now, something happened today, and I'm just, giving you my daily updates. And I'm so encouraged by what happened today. And I give you a real quick story. Basically, I had an appointment today to talk to someone about starting their own podcast. And I was like, okay, and in each one, I'm like, Lord, I just want to bless, help somebody, whoever wants to learn how to start a podcast, YouTube channel, whatever, create a web page, yada, yada, yada. I want to be able to be a blessing and to bring value. So I was recommended by someone else. Thank you. You know who you are. To this individual to talk to me about setting up their podcast, which I helped them. I gave them some tips and tools and things that I learned from other people who encouraged me. And so, as you learn and grow, you pass it forward, So as we were talking, because it's in those discussions, there's just giving people information. And then there's, hey, I want to be able to give you information that's valuable to you because it's something that you actually want to do. So, you have to talk. You build rapport. You try to, talk to the individual, find out something about that individual. And then, okay, all right. They have something that's should be put on a podcast, and not just do a podcast to do a podcast, because sometimes they're not ready for it. And I and by the grace of God, I will tell somebody, say, look, hey, maybe that's not for you, maybe not the time is right, but it depends upon them. But either way, I was talking to this individual, great guy. He has a great story of hope, things that he's gone through, and him creating a podcast would be great for the people that need to hear that message from him. So, the encouragement was it wasn't just giving them the information. How you should start a podcast. What should you, do with your logo, your thumbnail that you're going to put out there. How you should start it. 1 episode, 2 episodes, 3 episodes, multiple, just different things. Well, at the beginning of our conversation, a word dropped in me, and it had to be from God. And I was hearing his voice, and something inside of me said, man, he has a good voice for radio, to come out there and talk about a subject and have that type of voice that people will be like, oh, wow, I need to listen to that. So that dropped in me at the beginning of our conversation. And I was like, oh, yeah, and I agreed with it. But that word that I got was not just for me. It was for him. Why? I didn't know that until we got to near the end of our conversation, where that word that dropped in me about him and his voice stirred up in me again, and I complimented him. I was like, you know what? I just want to tell you, you have your voice. You have a good voice for doing a podcast too. And you know what? To my surprise, he stopped me and he's like, you know what? Thank you for that. I'm paraphrasing his words. He said, because when I was younger, I didn't like my voice. For some reason, when he was younger, growing up, he didn't like his voice. And can you imagine the lies that he was believing, possibly up until that point, to where I said to him, you know what? You have a good voice for that. People need to hear you. They need to hear what you're saying. Guys, I just want to give you this little nugget. If there's any little nugget in this, when a compliment drops in you about somebody, it is good for you to have that knowledge, but it's even better. It's even better when you share it with that individual. Now, I could have been like, man, I'm gonna tell another guy that, you know, his voice sounds good. Some of y'all might know, say, hey man, I'm gonna give another compliment to some other guy. It's kind of weird. But when that kind of drop comes in you, that person might need to hear that. But because sometimes we have ego or whatever, we block what needs to be put out there for that other person to be encouraged. That's why I said encourage one another. And it's just a little scriptural reference of 1 Thessalonians 5. And where is it at? Verse 11. Therefore, encourage one another and build each other up, just as in fact you are doing. And this was a letter to the Thessalonians, giving them some encouragement to not shrink back, but be encouraged to live their lives in the light, not in darkness, to be sober in what they're doing, and to keep on having faith and love and encourage one another. Man, can we encourage somebody? As we're in this thankfulness month, let us also encourage one another. And if something drops in you that says, man, you know, that person, you know, their hair looks good, or whatever the case may be. Or, man, you know what, I like the way that they continually are dedicated and show up. I'm going to compliment them. They might need that little encouragement. You never know. So hopefully this blesses you as it blessed me, and it you know, it blessed him, and he was very thankful. And I'm just thankful to God that I did not just sit on that little nugget. You never know. You never know what little golden nuggets might just be that thing that the person needs to hear that day to take him to the next step and next level in their walk and in their faith journey with God, and having faith in people too. That there is actually goodness out there. You never know. But guys, have a blessed rest of the night. And like I always tell folks, to have a positive expectation of God's goodness in your life. God bless you guys. And this is my day number, Day number 16. Have a good night.